Make a U-turn. In 1,000 feet, slide left, take the next left, sharp left, turn right on, continue on, in a quarter mile, at the light, in 600 feet, turn right on. You have reached your destination.
Okay, so the front air dam is on. It is loosely tied down. We've got some adjusting to do, but it's largely where it needs to be. You can see it's imperfectly fitting because I'm not, like I said, I'm not tied down completely and totally. Oh, there's me. So I've left these three here undone because I've got to buy longer bolts for the grill. That's where the grill will attach. Here, and yeah, so by the way, do not buy this glue. It is junk, fucking junk. I bought two of them, of course, because I'm dumb. This stuff turns slimy when it is hot and when it's a part of rubber? Yeah. Look, watch. Just the slimy yuckness. And you can see it doesn't stay. So I'm going to have to pull all of that down, clear all that crap off, and start from fresh with a decent glue. Something from 3M probably. I don't know why it got so gross. I don't know if it's a matter of eating into the rubber or what the fuck, but I'm not going to use that crap again. So what am I going to do next? Probably tie everything down. Not yet. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so I've got both left and right, inner or rear and front, I don't know what you call it, panels in for the rear fenders, right? You can see that I'm holding it down here to show how it'll look once the fender is tied down completely. It's a nice fit, and let it go. And I'm not worried about that. That gap here will close up once I've got everything tied down. You can see back here how nicely it fits, right? Good snug, nice and snug down there. It conforms with the curves. Everything's good to go. But not here. So I'm gonna have to cinch the rear of the fender in a little bit by 3 inches or something. I don't want to do that, but I got to do that. Sucks, but I'm a little bit worried about crazing or cracking the paint, which is a very real possibility. I guess I'll have to come to that when I come to that, and maybe repaint it at some point, but it is what it is. Or pull it in a little bit, stabilize it so it doesn't flop around anyway, but you see what I'm saying. And on this side, everything looks great. Everything looks great. So I've been doing some work on the trunk. The reason I did these now is so I could get those panels, those suckers covered up. I'm sorry, covered up. So I get the holes used like they're going to. When I put carpet over that, it'll look nicer. Yeah. So, well, it won't look nicer. It'll just look like it's not covered with anything. So here we go. I have what I need, and I'm going to start in on finishing off the trunk and calling that, I think, just about a day once the trunk is done. Yeah. And here's my trunk mat. This is what I've been trying to get to. This is why I've put all the inner fender stuff on, hide the bolts, and on and on. I want to be able to get to this and finish this off. Put the spare tire in there and get that finished off. Put the trunk lid on, get that finished off. On and on and on. I'm kind of working backwards and going forwards, right? What you're looking at here is the carpet. Bought that off of eBay for not a whole heck of a lot. This backing is yoga mat. Don't tell management. And I had to do a couple of pieces there, but you won't see that because I didn't get a big enough piece, I guess. I'm an idiot. And I've got a whole bunch of this stuff. I made this. Okay, I just cut out, what, a 1.5 inch strip or whatever, glued it folded it over and pounded it. I'm going to use this as edging. I'll be using the same thing tomorrow for piping, to make my own piping, and you'll see what I've been doing with that. So without further ado, I'm going to get sewing, and I will show the process, the end result, once I'm done. Okay, you can see my skill with trying to do it a certain way didn't work. I tried wrapping both of these bits around, this on top and the other part under it, and it didn't work. I had one hell of a crappy line. So I took this off, I snipped it off, and I did the other way. So I put it like this, and then just sewed the underneath, as you can see here. I am now going to pull it over and re-sew. I've got some good corners here too, I think. Nice curves. $50 to anybody who can remember what this is. And may soon be. Yeah. So, I'll go on to the next piece and hopefully be finished soon. Well, this is not bad. One of my better jobs, actually. Yeah, so this is the actual mat that will go on the floor of the trunk. That's the cutout for the gas fill spout. And somewhere in here, I'm going to have to cut a relief for the spare tire hold down. Somewhere in there. I'll figure that out. And that's how it looks a little bit. So the hump in the center of the floor for where the spare tire goes is going to deform this. I've got a steamer. I'm going to steam the shit out of this thing so it gets hot and is able to form around that bowl and go from there. So I've already cut out the pieces that go here on the left and right side. I'm going to start putting those together. I have an issue that I have to figure out. That issue is piping. I don't have any piping, so I have to make my own. And I think what I'm going to do is, using this stuff here, bent over, where is it? Some wire. Probably this. That's awfully, I don't like that. Maybe this, because it's heavier. But you'll see. I'll make a quick video of it. With this is good and thick. Yeah, it's about the size of the wire that I want. Okay, well, I know what I'm going to be doing next. Okay, so let's see what I'm going to do. I've already cut out a good long length of this stuff. And all I'm going to do is lay that wire right in the center. I'm going to fold it over. There'll be a little bit of a bulge there. Oops, a little bit of a bulge there. I will glue and sew it all together, and you'll see homemade piping. Came up with this in a dream of all things. I didn't know what the hell I was going to be doing, but here it is, what I will be doing. Yep, a little bit of glue, and there's the wire. I'm going to both glue and sew this. And see what I'll be doing with it here in a few minutes. This is done. Okay, this is just one part of the what I'm going to be doing next. But again, this is my homemade piping. And let me pause. I'll show you what I'm doing next. Okay, on either that side or that side, I'm going to have a piece come down like this, and then a separate one down like that. So basically, in that corner is where you will see this stuff. I think it'll become more obvious once I put it all together, but I've got some sewing to do, so it actually won't take long. I'm almost done. Okay, so I'm done. This is what it's somewhat kind of going to look like. I don't have anything fastened down yet. I've got a couple of these things to sew up, some of the seams, so it looks seamless. And Not bad. I'm actually pretty pleased by how it came out. I'm actually really pleased by how it came out. So I'll get to the next one. I'll sew up these seams so that they look natural and decent. You'll see how I do that. And then we'll go from there. Okay, honestly, I'm not too displeased by this. This looks pretty nice, I think. I had to do a couple of relief cuts. You can't tell, but they're too well. But here, and where's the other curve? Right there. And I'll show you how I did those in a second. And I glued it in, so it's permanent. You see a little bit of a deformation there. Maybe you can't tell on the camera, but I can see it right there from bolts. Where's the other one? Right there from a bolt. But it looks awfully nice. I'm going to do a little bit of fine tuning and evening it out, but that's how that homemade piping looks. Other side. It's not done yet, but that'll be easy. I'll do that later, I think. I'm going to eat and get to that one too. This is the left-hand side. You can see where I've done some stitching to pull the pieces together, and I added more material there so that it would conform to the curve as it slopes down. Right? You don't see that from the other side. You'll see a little bit of the seams, but once it's in and stretched out and glued down, as you saw on the other, side, you can't see that. So, not bad, not bad, not bad. Can't say that this is a bad job. Looks pretty okay. Again, some more evening out of that line there. Let's see. There we go. That line there. Make it look a little bit better, but those are some easy. There it is with the mat. That needs to be evened out a little bit. And there's the other side. So not bad. I'm gonna do the spare tire next, and then put it all together into. I'm done with the trunk package, and then put the lid on. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, spare wheel. Lovely assistant is walking away. I've already measured the circumference and the height, and I've added a little bit. It's going to look like this. The tire itself is about 74. I rounded up to 75. I thought, no, I better go to 76 because I'm going to be sewing not exactly on the edges, only a little bit of margin on both sides, top, bottom. And then the piece that would go up and down is 9 inches tall. I'm going, what's 9 inches tall? It's actually 7 and some change. Maybe I ought to go 10. I am going to go 10. Jesus, I wrote like a third grader. Try this again. So 10 inches tall. That's going to leave me the margin for when I sew these pieces together, as well as a little bit at the bottom where I can make either a drawstring or have it folded under itself. Probably a drawstring. And then that's that. I don't think I'm going to go with piping on this one. Maybe I ought to. Nah. Anyway, I'm going to get going. I'm going to start cutting out some carpet and getting her done. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is obviously the top there, and I needed to figure out what the diameter of a circle is with that circumference, right? So circumference is 2 pi d, pi d or 2 pi r. I'm looking for the d. So d equals c over pi. 76 inches over that equals 24.25. Roughly, it's actually 25.19 or some such like that. And as deeply intelligent as I am on all things circles, I kind of cheated. Stop. Fuck. Oops. Alexa, given a circle of 76 inches, what is its diameter?
The diameter is about 24.19 inches.
That's how I actually did it. Might as well put all this AI bullshit to work for us, right? So I'm going to, all I did, I took that 24, I found out where the center point of the bottom is and went up 24 inches? 24 inches. and half of 24.25 is about 12.125, 12 and an eighth, 12 and a quarter rather, and I rounded up to 12 and a half. Marked it on my tape measure and just did tick marks all around. So all I'm going to do now is fill that in. That'll be my line to cut, and that's that. And I think I've got enough room left on this piece to do this 77 by 10. I think. We'll find out in a second. Okay, quick update. I'm not very good at sewing things in a circle, and I know I could go slow, but I'm just watching Netflix and hand stitching this. I did take it to my sewing machine to put a drawstring pocket seam thing. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, well, you'll see more when I'm done. And I'm done. Did a pretty good job. I think I like what I see. I made it too big, so I may redo it. There's some bunch up here in the edge, but you can see how the piping worked out. It looks real nice, real pretty. The tire's bigger than my hole there, so I may think about doing some surgery. I'm not sure yet how, but yeah. Oh, and by the way, check it out. Awfully nice. I like the way it looks. The blue and the gray is a nice scent off. Yeah. I'm thinking about extending this piece all the way down. See if I like it or not. Maybe. If not, then I'll just leave it as is. Obviously, well, duh, right? So this is where it bunched up, not bunched up, but a little bit bigger. I can resize that, I think, if I need to. But we'll see. I'll probably just leave it like it is. I do like the way it looks, though. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Pretty pleased. Let's turn this off. And turn this off. That's that.